This episode is brought to you by our patron supporters, and today's patron of the day, who is Adrian. Did you know that patrons get the show always ad-free and access to that extended bonus episode, you know, with the bonus content, like today, where we're going to be reading some really funny what are the prompts? Too afraid to ask.
Too afraid to ask. Yeah.
They're wild over there. It's going to get weird. That's all if Alyssa's battery survives. There is a chance, but we'll find out. If you don't want to miss all that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline. Here we go on to the show.
Do you want me to do it?
It's just that part. Welcome everyone to The Line Has a Podcast. I'm Jimmy Snow.
I'm Alyssa Lube.
And we are totally recording this early on Monday morning and not without a co-host because everybody else was going to Super Bowl parties. It's not even actually the technical reason Promise isn't here, and yet I suspect Promise is probably at a Super Bowl party because she's got like friends and stuff. I don't know what that's like.
She does. I have friends who are watching the Super Bowl, and this is the first year that I don't have a sporty boyfriend who's going to make me watch. And so I went to the grocery store and I got Super Bowl snacks that I like. And after this, I'm going to eat Super Bowl snacks without having to watch the dumb idiot game. Listen, Men in Tights, fantastic. I love that. My problem is so often when I feel like people are watching the game, the level of screaming and like,
it's too much
passion, and I just can't take it seriously. Take it seriously. So that's on me. It makes me a bitch. I hear it. I'm recognizing it. It's just not me.
I like how the peak of heteronormativity in the U.S. is a game by which you have to start each round by putting your legs carefully between another man's legs and deliver his leather baby into your hands. And then protect that leather baby and pass it off to the other. And it's, don't worry, it's not gay. It's just full contact. And they do shower together. Don't you worry about that either. They're the richest people. They're some of the richest people in the world, but the showers are not individually stalled. It's one big communal area because that's where they do their bonding to make sure that they're as close as possible to each other. We don't want to we gotta foster their closeness. These very heteronormative straight men. Anyway, obviously we all know who won, and that was the insert answer here, edited in with AI. So congratulations or fuck you, depending on whether or not I would care or not at all, which is probably no. Probably I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I care either way. You know what would be the Chiefs and the Eagles.
I just am really surprised. I guess I want the Eagles to win because it's still the Chiefs. That's still the name.
I know. The thing is, I feel like I want the Chiefs to win because I hope that means that Taylor Swift will get proposed to in a way that is public enough so that we can all know about it. And there's no reason for me to feel that way. Like I just like want to see that like pop culture moment come full circle.
I'm pretty sure we're mad at Travis Kelce right now because he talked about it being such an honor to have Donald Trump attending the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure we're mad at him for that.
I said that. I'm so disappointed.
He did the diplomatic, like, it's always an honor to play for whoever the president is. It's an honor to I just made a hand gesture, people. This is a podcast.
That's tough. That's tough. Listen, God doesn't give with both hands. That's an expression. And, you can't be too pretty and too smart. There's balance there.
Are we under the impression that Travis Kelce is considered pretty? Because that means...
I think he's pretty.
Now, I guess... all right, cool. I guess maybe I'm pretty because... We are similar kinds of ugly, Travis Kelce and me.
Okay, you're not ugly, and Travis Kelce is not ugly, and he's not ugly. Travis Kelce's not ugly. Is he ugly? Oh, no. See,
I'm not a way I want to shame him for. I just am like,
I've been duped before. Here's the thing. I now have a rule with some of my friends that I've had to like take a step back when I think somebody is cute and ask myself, is this man cute or does he have facial hair and tattoos? And that's a real problem that I've had, like,
I
consistently.
I don't have the redeeming qualities apparently from being this ugly. Zero tattoos. I just looked it up and somebody posted, "Am I not a football fan?" This is a Reddit question. Or is Travis Kelce unattractive?
No, I think he's so handsome.
Um,
Look at
I,
him.
okay.
And it's also like he's a good-looking man. He has a great career,
I
and he
definitely like him better with the
seems
short hair, short beard thing. I
me
don't feel like
too.
that's his look these days.
And he seems relatively kind from what we know. You know, maybe that means that he can't be the most. He's not the sharpest tack. He also, I'm sure, has had a million concussions in his lifetime.
I wasn't a jock, and he has super jock face
Yeah,
and
he
that super
does.
jock sense of entitlement, and so probably I just don't like him on that basis. Though, funny enough, I was very friendly with very jockey people too. So I'm not saying like because the jocks used to shove me in a locker. I used to
Right.
hide myself in the lockers. Because it's a nice little. It's like being back in the womb, a nice little metal womb for you.
My goodness.
We have so much to talk to, and we haven't even told people that today is February 10th. We're going to be talking about Trump's legal battles, the economic policies coming out of his office, Elon Musk's power government grab, the absolute coup that is going on right now. And apparently, we just can't do shit about it, as well as other global issues. Yeah, this week's full of wild shit. It's going to be this way for 4 years. And I actually think that we
Yeah.
are probably right now every day being like, holy crap, again. And weirdly, I think this will be mild compared to like months from now. I would say a year from now, but I'm not sure that there's like a country and a podcast to do at that point. If we haven't gotten shot down by the Commission of Anti-Christian against Anti-Christian Sentiment or whatever that shit is, if we haven't gotten shut down for that, um, I I stress about that. I think I'm developing an ulcer about what that organization is eventually going to be equipped to do
Yeah.
power wise to shut down anti-Christian propaganda.
Right. Well, one thing about Trump is he loves to control every piece of media that he possibly can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I almost like it. It feels too bad to accept that that's a possibility, but as it is, I mean, I get content violations literally every single day on my channels. And now they're not. We don't have third party fact checkers any longer, so I don't really see how. It's funny because when they first announced that there were no longer going to be third party fact checkers, there was a group of people who are like sex educators who were kind of like, maybe that'll actually be okay. And I was like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's going to be so much worse. We're all going to be
Right.
fucking detonated from this space. And if there's going to be one who's specifically looking for anti-Christian bias, I mean, everyone subscribe to the Patreon because
Yeah, no shit.
I
And maybe
don't know.
maybe just start sending me physical cash in envelopes. Like I'm gonna need it. I just stress out about like what if the whole channel comes down? Obviously, lots of people here they rely on the income from the channel to live, and like those of us who are working here the most and therefore make the most off of it because we do a profit share. So it's based on basically the amount of labor you put in is what you get out, and we are like all people with medical stuff to worry about, and that's stressful
Yeah.
because yeah, you take away. I like even just one of the freaking frauds with the American healthcare system is if you medically need supplements, a lot of those aren't covered by insurance. You can get like a couple of vitamins, like a worse version of vitamin D I was prescribed recently, and it was like, no, you should actually go and buy this version that's like D2 breaks down so much easier. It's not that great. It's really only used short term. You should go get D3 and something sustainable. Also, if you turn down your microphone or your not your gain, but your
My
headphones a little
headphones.
bit, I just hear myself and I
Is
hate
that
it.
better?
Probably.
Okay.
Yep. Nope. I hear it again. I'm gonna turn myself down a little bit and hope it drowns it out, and just hope it's not in the recording in the end. The it's just frustrating because I like it's not just the direct medical costs that I'm thinking about, like medications that I'm on. And if I was cut off from those, my life would get, I'm very reliant on the medications that I take every day. And it only takes a day being off to become very, very sick. Not even a day. If I didn't take my morning meds by that afternoon, I'd be very sick. And so like all that stuff stresses me out. But then I'm also like, as a result of my health issues, I have to battle all of these like deficiencies, and I actually have to supplement a lot of vitamins and stuff because my diet is so low. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending like $300 to $500 a month on
Oh my
just like
God.
vitamins and supplements, which is already ridiculous and shouldn't have to do. And yeah, just even if I had to prioritize that down to which ones I wanted the most, would still be too expensive to sustain
Yeah.
if they so there's already problems, and now it may become like, yeah, you're just going to lose all of your livelihood and income. But don't worry, right now they're only going to make sure that that's not coming out of the government
Mm.
kind of bullshit reassurances, as though if they get the opportunity to take more power, as we're seeing with this current coup that's going on, like they wouldn't just take every bit of power that they can.
Right.
It's awful.
It
Any
is.
thoughts? Yeah, sorry,
I
that was
mean,
that was a pause for you.
I mean, my thoughts are based on evidence, I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't take every opportunity that they could to take from people who actually could use support and give to people who make a fuck ton of money and can just help each other in this like upper echelon of income. So I have no faith in this administration to do literally one single thing that is helpful to anyone that is not themselves and their
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, and they are very recklessly destroying things. To that end, we do have some news about like these federal judges have issued injunctions against Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, halting its attempts to access sensitive government systems and implement significant spending cuts. However, even with this, you have these multiple federal judges. They're worried about this unauthorized access. It's not actually slowing them down. And now you have uh, Elon going to like Twitter, whatever he wants to call it, Twitter, and saying like, oh, we need a system by which we actually get rid of these 1% of the really bad judges, because the judges who are stopping him from doing this massive power overstep from, again, mind you, a man who was not elected, and his team of seemingly teenage boys, which I've seen him accuse people of pedophilia for less. You remember the guy when he's building the submarine, and there was a dude who was like, "Yeah, that submarine's stupid and won't work," and he's like, "Well, that guy's a pedophile." Blah, blah, blah. Uh, except he sounded even more ridiculous, like he had even more peanut butter in his mouth. But yeah, I mean, they're trying to do crazy shit, like handle the trillions of dollars that go through the Treasury Department. They're trying to halt the USAID, which apparently we're not supposed to just call it US aid. I don't get it. I don't know why everybody goes through the effort of making sure they go call it USAID. It looks like US aid, or you said. You could even make it that, which
Yeah.
sounds like a dating app based on gossip or something, or like where you start arguing right away. It's like, hi, I'm Jimmy. Hi, I'm Claire. And then it's like, yeah, well, you said blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
You
I'm going to make
said
that app.
to me, you're gonna cut that out. You said,
No, I'm going to build that app.
oh, okay. You said sounds like it would be like a pharmaceutical drug for maybe like IBS. And
Yeah.
then it would be like one where the commercial is like two older people. Actually, no, not IBS, incontinence. And it would be like two older people walking through Central Park, like having a really nice time. The cherry blossoms are blooming, and they're like, don't let your incontinence be the reason why you can't enjoy things. Use you said. Like that
Yeah.
feels like, and then it would be like the whole list of all of the side effects. That's what I think
Yeah.
you said is. Question of the day. What do you think you said is?
But then I like the idea of them calling in and being like, you said that this would stop me from pissing myself. Like,
Oh my
sorry.
god.
Anyway, Elon now pushing this idea that anyone who tries to obstruct Doge should essentially be impeached, which it's like their obstructions exist in government for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're meant to slow you down. They're meant to, and it's
Right.
just this
When you say
dumb thing of,
obstruction, do you mean checks and balances? Do you mean the thing that our entire
right.
government was like created with?
And these judges that can actually demonstrate that they are meant to be there were actually put there by a legal process, and you were just appointed king poop of everything for
King poop.
no real good apparent reason, except for the lulz and the trolls. He is a professional troll, and we've given him everything. But you also had federal judges this week blocking Doge from accessing the Labor Department. They've issued injunctions for their attempt to get into the Department of Labor as well, which hopefully this works, because again, they're just kind of doing things anyway. I think they have a ask ask for no permission, and
Yeah.
later ask for a pardon when we just break it anyway. Because
Right.
realistically, what threat do you have? Hey, if you keep doing that, we're going to sue you legally. It's literally like, right, but I literally have the guy who can, if you're talking about federal offenses, guess what my guy can do? Just wipe it away. They don't care.
They don't care. Well, there's no. I remember this being I had this conversation with my brother before Trump actually got elected, where when it was in response to people saying, well, we survived the first Trump presidency, and so I don't know why you think we can't survive it this time. And our response was always, there are no guardrails anymore. Like the fucking guardrails are gone. He's gonna do whatever he wants. And now here we are. And again, like like I think about the conversation that we had like a couple episodes ago where the question was, is it okay to have I told you so conversations?
Yeah.
And these are the moments where it's really hard because I had this conversation a million times over with people who kept saying, why? Well, this is not going to be any different than the first time. It is different because the guardrails are fucking off. They're off.
But also, I don't even know what they're saying when they're like, we survived and we're fine. No. What? Like, we're literally alive. What do you mean by survived? The country was worse off. But also, even if you want to go with literally alive, shall we bring up some of the mortality stats from the time he was in office because he botched an actual pandemic? You survived. Many people did not, and many people lost rights as a result of him getting it. What the fuck are you talking about?
But if you're talking to a Trump supporter, they don't.
Yeah, they're too dumb.
It's just not about the group. It's about me. I survived. I financially am in a better place, which they probably aren't.
No, that's made up.
Yeah. But it's like, it's never about we. It's always about I. And that is like, for people who have a hard time understanding, I mean, I don't think anyone who listens to this podcast would have a hard time with this, but for people who have a hard time understanding why people who are like leftist or liberal can't maintain friendships with people who are Trump supporters specifically, the reason that I feel like comes up the most is you literally only do things for yourself. You vote for yourself and to better your own situation, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. And that is
but you do it badly too.
Yeah, right.
Like, and you're doing what you think is best for only you at the cost of everybody else, but actually it's not benefiting you anyway.
Right. Unless you are a billionaire and I don't know about it. But it's that at that point it is a ethical, moral difference that we have, and that's the reason why I can't be friends with you anymore.
Yeah.
Because you literally don't care about anyone except for yourself. That's crazy.
At this point, it seems clear that they're also planning on whatever they do being a permanent type of takeover, that they won't have to worry about losing another election again. Because going this radical, this hard, this fast, like, you wouldn't do that if only for the thought of, okay, but what about when the other side gets in?
Yeah.
And now they're going to be this radical to their ends. We're going to hate that. So we have to pace this at least appropriately to avoid that. But you wouldn't worry, like, the brilliant man that Elon supposedly is, wouldn't worry about that if they're not planning on losing ever again, because it won't be an option if they plan on I genuinely think an arrest warrant for Biden will come at some point during these 4 years. They're going to do everything they can to abuse the power in every way that over the last several decades they've claimed Democrats are always doing, even as they are doing those things themselves. It's every accusation a confession. So all of this to bring us back to the question of the day, because we kind of got into the news stories, but it ties in well. last week we had asked, like, with everything going on, taking away Gaza, because obviously that's what's already the most alarming for all of us. What secondary is the most alarming thing to you going on with Donald Trump? What policy is the most alarming? Um, and with these questions of the day, people, make sure that you are responding on YouTube. We go through and we check them out. Put them in the YouTube comments or in the Patreon comments, and you may get on. But Turtle Cat had said, the dismantlement of accessibility along with DEI standards. As a disabled American, I'm terrified to see the rat that takes the damage that's going to do with people, that's going to do to people with disabilities. There was an interesting video about how there were folks trying to call for the end of sign language interpretation and important government briefings. It's literally like they're not even trying to not appear as Nazis anymore. If you aren't a straight cishet, if you're not a cishet white male, and then even if you are that, if you have a disability, they hate you and they don't give a fuck about you and they don't want you catered to. But because so
Right.
many people aren't deaf, it's easy to prey upon how apathetic most people are going to be. And so while you have a small group of people being dog shit and going like, yeah, fuck deaf people, then you have a larger group of people who are like, yeah, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to stop them from fucking over deaf people. I don't even know a deaf person.
Mm-hmm.
It's dog shit. And then we also had a person saying that they are worried about the dismantling of the education system, which allegedly is happening right now. The Musk has been claiming that the Department of Education is already allegedly no more. We will see how what that comes out to. But imagine knowing the history of this world and decades past and things that happened. I wish I could say a full century ago, but we couldn't even make it 100 years before Hitlering again. And thinking like, who's going to be cool? The people who make education less accessible
Hmm.
and lower the standards in a country already with dog shit low standards, very high confidence in how smart we are, and yet our education system is the laughing stock of the world. It's the best. God bless America. So now, next week's question of the day, and this is what we want to hear the response to. Are you at home, the listener, are you worried about the rise of fascism? Is what you're seeing now something we saw, let's say 85 years ago, in Europe? Is this something that, are we just repeating that? Is fascism returning? What do you think?
I think yes. I mean, I think that there have been pretty direct lines drawn between what we're seeing now and what we saw 85 years ago. I think even just like, even, and I've said this before, so I'm being a little redundant, but even knowing that in trying to have conversations with people who are very supportive of this administration, it's actually almost impossible because they're operating from a completely different set of facts. So it actually doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
say.
Called not facts.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like it's wild to think that we were in school learning about propaganda, learning about like that level of manipulation, and now we're literally in it, and somehow this same group of people is saying absolutely not. Trump was actually president this whole time.
Yeah.
And JFK is alive. Like what are you talking about? Like actually how do you believe that that's true? But and then it like makes me feel like shit because the next place that my mind goes is like how are these people believing that that's true? But then these are also the same people who are believing that a mystical magical book that was written forever ago has like all of the solutions for everything else now. So I don't know. It's like I don't want to I
Except, do
don't
they even believe that? Because I read the life of Jesus Christ and I'm like, boy, I do not read about republicanism anywhere in this.
right.
This dude sounds a lot more like Bernie than Donald. It's
Correct.
weird.
Correct.
We're gonna
Correct.
we'll take a quick bake. We'll take a quick break. I'm gonna make a souffle.
Ooh.
We'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we're gonna be talking about Trump's amended lawsuit against CBS. You remember the 60 Minutes one?
Yeah.
The ways in which the Democrats are apparently gonna try to fight back. Spoiler alert: it's not gonna work. And other wild things like an update to one of the Trump pardon recipients. Those stories are always fun.
Yeah.
It's like they're pretty much all terrible people and shouldn't have been pardoned. And this may be the worst one of all so far. that doesn't involve a death. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove...
Welcome back. All right, so everything is stupid and sucks. Like we said before the break, we're just going to jump straight in. Donald Trump has amended his lawsuit against CBS, now claiming that a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris unfairly diverted viewers from, and this is why he deserves, apparently this is why he has the right to sue, because it diverted attention from his platform, Truth Social. So when you do lots of types of lawsuits, especially things like defamation, misinformation lawsuits, one of the things the claimant has to prove is that there is monetary damage to them. And so this man, who already has so many propaganda arms and doesn't seem to understand that this would set a horrible precedent for himself. For example, if Truth Social, then in reverse, other websites or news what are they called, channels, could come to him and be like, oh, well, the misinformation on your site actually took away from our revenue. He is literally trying to sue for $20 billion. He doubled his lawsuit against CBS to $20 billion, claiming that they intentionally edited Harris's interview with the intention of diverting viewers from his Truth Social platform, which is another example of why, if you are a public servant at the highest level of office, you should not be allowed to have your fucking fingers in so many pots. You should have to completely sell all of your assets. You should have to put things in trust. You should not be allowed to profit from the presidency, and not now, as Donald Trump very dictatorially is trying to do, shut down any sort of press agency that is trying. We have freedom of the press in America, but fuck that. This is gonna hurt Truth Social, the very ironically named show, the very ironic platform, very ironic. It doesn't seem to catch the irony, because all he fucking does on that thing is lie. They're going to Truth Social and saying, well, now if you say negative things about me anywhere else, or you do a type of interview that I don't like that wouldn't benefit me, I can sue you on the basis of you are hurting my alternative news platform, Truth Social. This is the world we live in right now.
I feel like this I like forgot about Truth Social. There's just been too many other things happening, and this being the motivation. Yeah, one of the dogs is freaking out because my mom just got home. This being the motivation for this lawsuit is hilarious to me, because that just tells me that the platform is failing so hard.
Like, I don't think the platform is meant to. I don't think it's monetarily driven. I think it's just meant to be a method, a tool like this, to be able to do this type of thing. I don't think he's sitting there going, we need to make up the revenue for that, because I don't think he actually loses any money if it doesn't do well.
But I don't even know if it's like a revenue thing or it's an ego thing. Like the engagement isn't great, and so it's becoming a flop and whatever.
I genuinely don't think he gives a fuck about it. I think he only cares about using it to spread propaganda, to radicalize people.
Right.
And I don't think he would care if it was worth $0, because it's not really going to affect his bottom line much with the way, like, any shares he has of that company, he got for free. He didn't buy in. He didn't financially set this thing up. They did also have Representative Ronnie Jackson, if you remember, the old doctor who was just on Air Force One giving people whatever drugs they wanted. This dude who is just an absolute mess, that then became a representative from Texas, my state. Oh, so great. They basically had him join the lawsuit so that they could justify that they filed it in Texas, where they can basically judge shop, a thing that Elon does as well, where you can pick a judge that's going to side with you, that's going to ultimately rule in your favor, and nobody's going to do much about it. But those aren't the types of judges that Elon wants to impeach. No. The ones who can be bought, literally, the ones who can be shopped for, the ones where you can pick an obscure region, an obscure county where there only are judges that support you and are radicalized individuals, that you can file there about anything else happening anywhere else in the country. That clear corruption that doesn't matter because in their minds, the ends justify the means. And the ends, I assume, is going to be some sort of law that, like a prima nocta thing where Elon and Trump got to just walk around and if they point at you, you have to fuck them. Like at the end of the day, I assume that's their goal because what else is it? Are we going to have to start pretending that their dicks are big? Because no, everybody knows this is not a big dick. These people wouldn't have this problem. They're look, body shaming it might be, but at this point, there's something wrong with their dicks and they're taking it out on us.
I mean,
we know they're not short, so it can't be like we've all known people who are shorter individuals who, because they feel emasculated by that, lash out and treat other people like shit because they're short. But we shouldn't shame short people generally, but you can also kind of tell when you're in the situation with a short man who's really hates being short. And I'm just saying they're tall. It's clearly their penises suck.
Right. Well, and I also just feel like they give me, like, the feeling that they give me all the time is just like spoiled little brat, little boy, like just immature, like just completely bruised ego constantly. It's just exhausting and embarrassing. So this is another moment. It's exhausting and it's embarrassing. And like for him to even make the argument that the Kamala Harris 60 minutes interview had any intention of going for Truth Social, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, you think that was the goal? You think that... I know that he doesn't think that's the goal. I know that he doesn't actually think that, but to make that argument is... you're out of your mind. That's so stupid.
With, once again, no consideration for if you actually set this as a precedent, where you can just say, when we were running against each other, my opponent did an interview saying bad things about me. So now I'm going to go and sue the interviewer. Because that's the idea, is if he somehow succeeded, now CBS isn't going to platform, nowhere, honestly, traditional news media will platform opposition or those types of interviews, because it's like, hey, just so you know, if you have a presidential candidate on, the other person can sue you and destroy you if that candidate says something bad, or if he's claiming that it was edited in such a way to make her look better, therefore making him look worse, when the editing, as they have already shown multiple times, was, yes, the interview was edited for time, like every interview, including interviews that Donald Trump does.
Right.
Again, we're not going and suing Fox News. Though maybe Harris gets to now. Maybe Harris gets to go like, oh, I actually own a little Airbnb in Martha's Vineyard. And Donald Trump, when he said that bad interview, it was clearly to try and hurt my Airbnb. So sorry, Don. Like, fucking idiots. These people are, but he can't be sued and he'll be dead before he could be sued anyway. The dude he's going to be 80 and his blood is gravy.
Ew.
I don't get it. How is he alive?
Gravy sludge.
I know. I feel like it's JD Vance is going to be the president. I feel like there's no way he survives naturally.
Wait, I have something to share. This is so random, but I saw that there was an article, I can't remember who put it out. It might have been Vox, that and this might be old news for you, but I've never heard this before. Apparently, what Trump is putting on his face every day is an orange color corrector, because he thinks it makes him look like his skin look warmer. But color correctors are not supposed to be detected really kind of at all. They're supposed to neutralize. So like if you get orange, you're supposed to use it in places like under your eyes where you have blue undertones, and it just color corrects so that it should sort of like level out to be what your actual tone or your undertone should be.
Wiping it all on.
And
do you love me now, Dad?
And the exact one that he purchases is like a deep orange, and he puts little dots of it and then rubs it in.
Okay.
Someone fact check that.
Trump's kind of gay.
I mean, he's wearing makeup and self-tanner.
I just want to point out, I am a queer man and I don't do that. So it's pretty gay. I don't know.
It's just a little silly. And like, you have all of the money and resources in the world. Oh, and also the color corrector.
Like how it emasculates them. Trump is gay.
The color corrector he uses is also like from Switzerland or something, and so you can't purchase it in the US. Maybe that makes him feel a little like a little less.
The only way it'd be funnier is if it wasn't even like face color corrector. We just found out he's like buying
Clown paint.
Swiss. He's buying like Swiss lipstick. He's like, and this goes on the whole face.
No, it's just
really
acrylic
nice."
house paint.
Yeah, and that's
Little
lead.
dots blending it
It's
in.
lead paint.
That
and
would make
explains
sense.
a lot.
That would
It's-
make a lot of sense.
Now I think I've just created the conspiracy because it fills in so many goddamn gaps. By the way,
Right.
Democrats are now they're coming to the rescue, people. They are going to fix it. They're going to do it. They are threatening a government shutdown to challenge President Trump's recent executive actions aimed at reducing federal spending and consolidating agencies. You know, because the Democratic opposition in the House and in the Senate, where they don't hold a majority in either, that's really going to what? Slow them down? You think that they can't make
Right.
all of the Republicans come to heel faster, especially with the crazy level shit they're doing? You think Donald Trump is going to have like a moment the way the Biden had with what's that stupid douchebag's name, Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, like bringing him into the office? Like, well, I wish you'd do it, but I hear you. You're saying you won't. And I guess I have to accept it. Think that's going to be fucking Trump in there? He's going to be like, okay, listen, it's great. I hear you. Now, I want you to understand that the Supreme Court said that I can murder you and your families as long as I think it is an official act of the presidency. So please tell me, do I need to do an official presidential act in your asshole right now?
Oh my God.
Which would be the threat, because once again, we've already established he's hey. It's not going to work. Yeah, great. A government shutdown. Like, do it. Go for it. You do your best. I don't know how this threatens Republicans much, because I think they would love the chaos of it, where now all of the bad things that are happening as a result of all the shit that's going on, Republicans can easily just go like, hey, you know how the government shutdown happened? Well, all of these things that are catching up and all the consequences of those aren't actually the consequences of, us shutting down all these federal agencies. That's the government shutdown. The Democrats actually did all this.
Right. That's a really good point. I think this is like really stupid and a waste of time. And I feel like, again, it just over and over again, Democrats disappoint me, because what the hell is this shit? What is this? This is not helpful. It's like it feels like the Democrats sometimes feel like a group of interns. Is this your first day? Is this your first day and you're trying not to upset anyone?
Yeah, the Republicans, oh no, don't shut down the government. Meanwhile, they're also going over, you are fighting against the people. We found out this on Sunday. House Republicans are literally exploring measures to tax college scholarships and modify student loan programs to finance the extension of the tax cuts.
Unfucking believable.
They're going to go for student scholarships and student loans. Like that's who's going to be paying for what, remember, a tax cut that disproportionately benefited the rich. That's who needs to pay for it. Students who, when they get out of college after falling for what is largely a scam, college, at least how much it costs and stuff, is a fucking scam.
Hard agree.
Yeah, they are going to be paying for decades, and now we just need to tack on a little extra because homeboys need another yacht.
Right.
Like, we are the stupidest fucking country, and at this point, I don't know what the solution is, because things I would have condemned a year ago, I don't know that I can condemn much of anything. I'm not going to be making calls for anything extreme. The best thing that we're going to be able to do with our platform is use it, and getting like purposefully thrown off of the platform by saying like, come on guys, let's get our own militias. We'll go. None of us have guns though, but we'll go paper cut the shit out of them.
Paper
Like,
cut
that's not
the
gonna work.
shit out of them.
We're going to go paper cut. I feel like that's the Democrat strategy. They're like, we're just going to send them so many papers that they're going to have to, they're going to be rifling through, and maybe a paper cut will get infected, and then we're
So
back
I'm
in
saying,
power.
what the hell is this shit?
Fucking nerds.
Fucking nerds.
At the end
Grow
of the day,
up.
they're
Like-
all going to be fine and rich.
Right.
They don't care.
But this is what costs us elections over and over again. Fucking nerds. Figure it out. This is your one job. This is literally your only job.
Be a
Why
good
do I-
type of nerd. You're the bad type of nerd.
They're the bad type of nerds. All of their ideas suck.
Yep. We're going to wait until you guys see This week, we are marching down to the White House. They won't let us very nearby, but we are marching down and we are going to tell them, well, we're going to hold up a sign. We're not going to say anything. We are going to express, well, the signs are illegal now, but we are going to have a very disappointed look on our face. And if Donald Trump happens to have a telescope, binoculars won't be powerful enough. If he happens to have a telescope, he's going to see how disappointed we are. Now, I'm going to go and hypocritically use Twitter to tell people about this.
Right.
Morons.
Right. It's giving Poindexter. It's giving absolutely useless. Also, not well thought out. Like,
Yep.
and it always is so frustrating because I think about the critique of Democrats being elitist and like talking down to people, blah blah blah. And so even now when I'm saying like, it just feels like, how are you and I on a podcast in our homes feeling like we have better ideas than people whose literal job it is to have good ideas? And then I'm like, well, this is why people say this about Democrats. And so I'm feeling like a mix of emotions because I still think that's true. How is it possible that I feel like people who are, I mean, I'm sort of answering my question while I'm asking it because I don't genuinely believe that any of the people in office on either side are actually good people and like actually want to
I think there's a
create.
couple, but they're totally powerless. I even think
Yeah.
some of the ones who are the faces of things are like I think if Hakeem Jeffries could, I bet you Hakeem Jeffries is internally
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a socialist, and yet he's the head of the majority there,
Mm-hmm.
and so he has minority party now, but so he doesn't. I don't think he gets to show that side of him. But because he's capitulated to all of the pressure of like, no, let's keep the cap. Like you still suck. But then you get Bernie's, you get AOC's, who she's been a mix on certain foreign policy stuff, but where you're like, I actually at least believe that you are there fighting for Americans, people like Katie
Yeah.
Porter, and that it's not as much about your job, though
Right.
Katie Porter did do and say some things during the last election. Not that I think Adam Schiff is great and deserve, but there were, I don't know, there were things that made me go, you're kind of getting a little like them to me in this,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not important. She definitely does at least fight for the people that she's claiming to represent, whereas all these other people are like fighting for their next term in Congress.
Right.
And it's so, I get it. Like to some degree, you're only going to attract narcissists to positions of power like that. But like, could you get some of them who are like, all right, well, I'm going to go with the narcissism route that happens to benefit everybody else. For all I know, that could be Bernie's deal. Like, think about what it has to, how little shame you have to have, and what an opinion of yourself you have to be the type of self-righteous that Bernie is. And yet,
Right.
I'm fully there with him, man. I'm like, bro, pick the good narcissist, because right now it's all the fucking worst ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just taking them into a room and going, no, your concealer looks great and your penis is fine.
And your penis is fine.
It's fine. Trump doing other weird shit this week. He offered, so he's proposed granting refugee status to white South Africans, specifically white South Africans. They're called like Afrikaner farmers. I think that's how you say it. Citing concerns over their alleged oppression and lands expropriation parties. Like, he's really catching up. Those colonizers down there who are still in a sort of active state of colonizing, they are not being treated very nicely by the people that they have massacred over the. Like, don't get me wrong. There are things there to be a little bit like, yeah, you got to stop like certain types of full on slaughters. You can't respond to a genocide with a genocide. Not that it's gotten even close to that same thing, but they're just falling for this propaganda, though, that there's this tremendous, because people, especially white supremacists, they want an example of a country where black people are supposedly oppressing white people. And it literally isn't even close to the levels you see in any other country of racial oppression. But they can be a little mean to the white guys. They're like, fuck off with this shit.
It's just so stupid and another like silly distraction. But also all of these little things, like They're all just like little baby building blocks of just like little baby things that he does to create this like, I don't know. These are the things that when I'm scrolling on like TikTok live and people are debating and there's like the Trump supporter debating, trying to pull like the most random fucking things out of his asshole, that's what he's gonna pull out. It's like that kind of a
It is,
thing.
yeah. But also, like, the shit they're doing, it's you just imagine printing it all out and you'd be like, wait, if you look, there's little lines between the words, and then you fold along the lines of the words, and you're like, oh, it forms into a perfect Klan hat. That's the like the dude. This is such like. By the way, Klan, I just want you to know, I'm with you, and I do not mean Wu Tang. He
Oh
does
my
not
god.
mean Wu Tang. Let
No,
me
he
just
does
say that
not.
much right
Certainly
now.
not.
Yeah, quite the opposite. They're gonna be in a lot of troubles if when before I've got Elon heading down to the Wu-Tang Clan to take care of them as I don't even know where
I
I'm
was gonna
going
say,
with it
I'm
at
just
this
gonna
point.
let you go with this for as long as you need
We got
to.
Elon headed down
Whatever you
to
need.
we're going down to the Department of Wu-Tang because there is a lot of money being spent there that no one that I do not approve of on things such as chicken, just whatever
This is
race,
crazy.
random racist things he would associate them with. I've always thought the very funniest stereotype in the whole world is the idea black people love fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't love fried chicken?
That's a great point.
It's like the great, if anything, we could be using this as a racial unifier because I have been to Korean restaurants with fried chicken. Like if you try to think of a restaurant, you're like, all right, but they wouldn't have fried chicken at like a whatever place. They do. They
Yeah,
always do.
that's
It's just
true.
literally like, but different like
Italians do
seasoning.
it. A little cutlet.
I have found that like most Asian places
Mm-hmm.
have some type of wings, and the
Katsu.
way they also like cook their wings are usually better than like I'm not gonna lie, I don't love a lot of Asian flavored sauces,
Mm-hmm.
but I will get plain wings from like I literally mean like tons of different Asian types of places, like a Vietnamese place, Korean place, Chinese place. Just the plain wings because the way they're cooked and they're so juicy, and I'll sauce those things myself with a little home sauce. They are so much better. Anyway, fried chicken is like the shit. It's
It is
like
the
it's the
shit.
weirdest stereotype that you're trying to come. Oh, by the way, do you know Puerto Ricans like to wear shoes? But wait, that's literally like one of the stereotypes. They've also black people in shoes. Everybody likes
Everybody
shoes,
likes
you fucking
shoes.
idiots. Okay, but what about hats? Hats?
Right.
Fucking-
I
We
know.
are bad at it stereotyping. Goodness sakes. Anyway, fried chicken's delicious.
Fried chicken is delicious. You're making me hungry.
I haven't had fried chicken in so long. And this week, going to the doctor, I had to pass in Texas. There's this place called Bush's. Best fried chicken I've had anywhere. I keep having to pass it. They also do this delicious, like, there's like a bread roll you can get with it. That's like really fluffy and delicious. And then it tastes to me like they put sweet tea in the batter because I
Oh.
taste sweet tea in the roll. I don't know if that's what they're doing. And if they are, it might be a secret and they might kill me for saying that out loud. But I swear, I think I taste sweet tea in their roll. That's them, right? That's not that other place.
So interesting.
There's one other place that could be. Golden Chick might be the place I'm actually thinking of the bread rolls. But the fried chicken at Bush's is the best fried chicken.
For a person who can't, I feel like you talk about food and foods you can't eat so much more than any person that I know because it's
Of
just
course.
the forbidden
It's been so long
food.
since I've had a real good food. I'm literally
Yeah.
like, it's
Do you
like
think
good.
you're gonna be able to eat like a real meal by the end of this year?
I hope so. I don't know. We're doing stuff. I'm finally tolerating like a fiber supplement, which I feel like is one of the big barriers. Right now, I'm literally like feeling queasy right now because a new multivitamin that has like a few more things in it. And I think my stomach does not like the zinc in it very much, as well as maybe some
zinc
other stuff like
sucks.
CoQ10 and stuff. Yeah. So I'm like trying to build up a tolerance to that because I'm not getting enough of a lot of vitamins. And so once I have that done, then it's like try to play with and mess with some stuff. But I don't know. I hope so because I have concerns that like there are certain things I'll never be able to have again because it doesn't seem unlikely that like things garlic and onion are both really bad triggers for me, and so that's pretty much pizza gone. Like
Yeah, but I think there's so many ways you can make foods without
I meant good pizza.
allergens. I know. But having pizza without garlic in it is
Okay. So no garlic in any of it,
mm-hmm.
anywhere in it. Okay, sure. Let's make that pizza, but not in the sauce, not on the crust, none of that. But also, I don't know what my body's relationship is now to gluten because I've been pretty much gluten-free and sometimes, even if you didn't need to, if you just go gluten-free for too long, people become intolerant just having not been able to have it for a while. And then cheese, like I already was always super lactose intolerant. So it's a matter of if I can build back into, and fats. I can't really eat much fats in a day. And pizza's not exactly not
a low-fat food.
I'm talking like good pizza too.
Yeah.
You're like, we can get you, what if like a tomato spit on a rice cracker? And then we melt some nuts on its face. But nut cheese is fatty too. So I wouldn't even be able to do that. So fucking nut cheese.
Nut cheese, ew. That sounds disgusting. I've had nut cheeses before.
This episode is brought to you by Fermunda. Go on.
Oh my God. I actually do like nut cheeses. But the word, like saying nut cheese is so gross.
Because of the existence of Fermunda cheese.
What is that?
I don't do images. I'd like you to just go ahead and Google it. And make sure that you remember that this is an audio podcast, so you're going to want to react out loud.
Oh, no.
It's gross. Do not look at images. Do not look at the photos.
Okay, I'm not going to.
Don't do it.
Wait, but it just says it's an artisanal cheese from the Netherlands.
Wait, no, it isn't.
Oh, my God, wait.
What are you talking about?
So what's crazy is the AI overview is Fromunda is a pungent artisanal cheese from the Netherlands with a strong aroma. But then as I scroll down,
you go to Urban Dictionary, would you?
I knew that this was what it was, but it's just still so upsetting to read it. It's like I knew that this is what I was asking for.
Let's not read it out loud. Let's not define it. Let's let people figure out. It kind of looks like ricotta.
Ew.
I've never had it in my life. I feel proud to just say that. If you've had it, my condolences to you. No shame, but it is just like, there might be somebody who's like, ugh, people can't help that and you're shaming them. And I'm not meaning to, but also like pooping is still disgusting and everybody has to do it. So we don't have to pretend certain gross things aren't gross. Anyway, that is the perfect transition to talk about Trump's meme coins, these Trump coins, Melania coins. They have lost investors $2 billion. Over 800,000 people have lost collectively $2 billion following the sharp decline of Trump's Trump coin. This we found out also on Sunday. It originally was introduced at 18 cents per token, shot up to $75, which is already crazy. And those early investors, they basically sold early, and now it is worth pennies. So Donald Trump, once again, if you thought he's my guy and he's going to make me rich, he is continuing to make more of you true believers poor.
Right. I thought, didn't Melania also come out with a coin?
Yeah, how's Melania coin doing?
I think the Melania one contributed to the tanking of the Trump one, which is hilarious.
I hope so.
I think that was what happened. It's also just, is that, right? Okay.
It was at an all-time high of $10.86 and is today worth $1.40. It has also plummeted in market cap. So that's fun.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say about that except for haha, fuck you guys.
Right. It's just kind of like if you really genuinely bought that, then you're one of those people that gets interviewed and gets asked the gotcha questions and then it gets put on TikTok. That's you. If you bought that coin, you are a grade A fool.
I think, why don't we take the opportunity now to jump to another break and we'll come back and hopefully, that's not the one I meant to play. Whatever, cut out to the break. We'll talk to you all again here in a moment about, oh man, this music fades not perfectly though. The rioter, the pardoned individual who committed, they just keep committing really bad crimes, and some funny stuff that's happening to Elon in Germany. Be right back.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com and pick up some founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
I love that sound when it's played in the right place. Welcome back from the break. And just so you know, as time goes on, those breaks are going to get longer with more ads and different things. Right now, it's a lot of self-promo. But as this becomes the biggest podcast in the universe, as it clearly deserves to be, there will be expansions in there. Let's come back and talk a little bit about other countries that aren't ours that may actually be able to do shit, may actually be able to fight back against some of these assholes, like Germany, which is currently ordering X, previously known as Twitter. They have mandated that Elon Musk's social platform grant researchers access to the data on politically related content ahead of Germany's February 23rd election. And I'm really, really hoping that they basically get to see how those algorithms and things have worked, because we know that he is trying to interfere there just as strongly, if not stronger, as he tried to interfere in the US election. We know he's going full balls to the walls, not good balls, but balls to the walls, trying to, and I feel it is going to not look very good for him when it becomes blatantly obvious that Mr. Freedom of Speech definitely has elected to fit the dials specifically to his taste and serve people more of the content he likes and suppress more of the content he doesn't, which anybody on that platform who even tried got to see that firsthand was how it worked. Because if you try, he talked about, we're going to have all these monetized accounts and we want multiple new people from all the angles. And then Don Lemon asked him like the most softball questions. He was like, I'm canceling your contract. You're not coming over here. They're just pushing people off the platform. They're doing nothing to actually make it seem like it's anything but a Nazi fucking hangout, which it is. That's where the Nazis hang out, and they fucking love it. And they go there and they jerk each other off because they're all gay too. Look, people, I get it. It's not fun to keep Jimmy just keeps saying they're gay as an insult. Yeah, because that's all we have left. They're easy to emasculate and we can't fucking do shit. So you go ahead and write them a goddamn essay online about how imperfect they are and this and that and just make it pages and pages long, and they're just going to say, shut up, queer, and they'll think they won. And so I'm going to just start responding, fuck you, you're gay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tough because at the end of the day, someone telling any of us that we're gay, we would just be like, right.
Bro, yeah, of course.
Right. And move on. And for them, that would take down their entire perception of themselves and be like a big problem. And that's why we say it. Not because being gay is derogatory in any way, because we're all gay, actually, on this podcast.
I don't know. I'm pretty filthy.
Oh.
Filthy gay.
Filthy gay.
Somebody's going to get mad in comments. Jimmy's technically bi. It's not okay for him to co-opt that term. Shut up.
But isn't to me, I feel like if you're bi, you are gay. You're gay. Queer. Yeah, like you are gay.
We're actually the most gay.
Partially gay.
We don't let silly things get in
I feel
our
like
way.
actually maybe I'm using gay the way that people use queer. Like you're queer.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
Everybody's gay.
Everyone's gay.
It's all gay. Anyway, Berlin's district court. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the person who's the most gay is Elon Musk, but whatever.
Oh, God, he's so gay. I mean, the way he's... Also, you do not make a post about, I love so-and-so as much as a straight man can, unless you're trying to low-key say you want to fuck him. And he did that this week. He tweeted, I love Donald Trump as much as a heterosexual man can love another man. And I'm like,
imagine being so insecure.
Starting there.
Imagine being so insecure like that you have to preface that. Whatever. So, okay,
they're fucking. They're fucking.
Ew.
Like, they are. They're fucking.
Ew. They can't. I don't think Trump's heart can handle it.
I like the idea. I know what you're saying is that his heart can't handle it in the physical
Yeah.
sense. But I love
heart
the idea
can't
better
handle
is they're
it.
like, he's like being spooned by Musk and he goes, I'm sorry. I'm not sure my heart could handle this. If
Right.
you were to leave me, I think I would die.
Right. So
And then
okay, so
I'd
a
be like,
German court is
leave him.
ordering X to provide.
All the researchers provide researchers with access to the data on politically related content.
Okay.
Yep. Basically show them the algorithm, show them
Right.
how they are deciding what to serve people, because Germany isn't quite like America. We have fewer, what's the word? Virtue signal. They have fewer virtue signalers than us. By the way, I'm one of the virtue signalers that I'm about to describe. Not only one side left Twitter over there. Twitter on the international stage is a lot of where a lot of people gather. Whereas here, obviously, a lot of people on my side were like, leave or else I'm mad at you. And I said it too, and I'm glad you left. And it's a Nazi bar. But in Germany, it's not just Nazis on there. And yeah, they are forcing X to give over those records and show them how they may or may not, he could prove he's innocent, be trying to put their fingers on the scale to make sure that their political party wins there, because he is trying to get the far right party in Germany into power. And when has that ever gone wrong?
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
We couldn't make it a whole fucking century, people. Like another 10 more years. And at least we could have said, like, it took Hitler died. And then Hitler dies in 1943. When did Hitler die?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have made it quite to Hitler's death anyway. 45. Hitler dies April 30th, 1945, 10 days after his birthday. I kind of like that for him. I love that. I love that he would have just been fresh out of like oh yes, we had our festivities last week. It was a very good. Oh, what's happening? Where are they landing? Is that getting close? Hand me that birthday gun.
Oh my god.
I like the idea that he killed himself with a gun he received on his birthday.
That's insane.
This was from my Uncle Frederick.
Oh my god. I'm just waiting for the Hitler impersonation to end.
He doesn't sound anything like this. This isn't even a very good German impression.
It's giving like a Family Guy version of Hitler.
Yeah. I can see that, because listen, I got to tell you, with most of the impressions I do it because I go and I listen to their voices a lot. So I can do a Stewie Griffin and I can do a Donald Trump because I am listening to them and repeating. I don't listen to certainly Hitler, could Hitler speak English? I'm not aware if he did.
Oh, that's a good question. I've never thought about that.
I'm so curious now. Let's see. Could Hitler speak English? He could comprehend, but rarely spoke. Okay, that's what everyone who can't speak a language says, though.
I understand some of it.
And German has those like weird words that just sound like you're trying to make a word fancy, like an English word fancy. They're like, yes, let's go on down to the Schauerhausen. You're like, okay, I caught shower house. Like,
right. And you're like,
wow.
I'm sure you can comprehend. I'm sure you can.
I bet he said that about a lot of languages. Like, oh yeah, I can understand, but I can't speak Spanish. And I wonder what other languages could he do. French was another language which he interacted with, but didn't have any proficiency. Was Hitler bilingual? Could he speak anything else? I mean, I know a lot of people think he spoke Argentinian in the end, but nope, no other language than German. Argentinian, Spanish, obviously, because people think was it Argentina or Brazil they think he fled to? There's that dumb movement of Hitler wasn't actually killed. He just moved to South America, people. Whatever. By the way, I'm just thinking about how, because this is early in the morning, the Eagles were so in the lead in the first half of
that was crazy, wasn't it?
And then, we all know what then followed was those things that followed.
Apparently, the government of Ontario had a commercial about how important Canada is during the Super Bowl.
I mean, they're not wrong.
But
I
like,
hope
that's
that they were given the
insane
airtime for free.
to spend millions of dollars for the airtime to be like, just in case you forgot, we mattered.
Canada lives matter, people.
All of them except Drake's.
I don't know if they did it appropriately to basically be like, hey there, so
Checking
we're
in.
Canada, and just so you know, here are the things you're about to spend more money on, because you guys are kind of treating us like dicks, you know. So sorry to let you know, but your eggs are about to double in prices, and this is a very offensive Canadian accent.
That's bad.
Every now and then sounds like I'm somehow being Canadian and Mexican at the same time, though. Okay.
I don't know.
You don't hear it?
No, I don't. I don't know what I hear, but I don't hear Mexican.
Oh, well, hey there. I don't know. There was a point where I thought, I was like, which one am I even doing? Whatever. Whichever accent it was horrible. Hey there, though.
That was pretty bad. You have better than that.
I was trying to do a silly, cartoony one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of them, they just sort of talk like this, though. It's sort of,
yeah.
I mean, we even have a bit of this accent up in northern parts of America.
Yes.
So
yeah.
it's not that big of a.
I feel like that whole, all of the states that are adjacent, like, is it Minnesota? I feel like
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's another one that
or
I feel
Alaska.
Like is super
I can
close.
see Russia from my house. She actually does sound like a fucking comic book Canadian. That's the ironic thing.
She absolutely does. South Park didn't have to try very hard.
So basically, there's a coup going on, people. We talked about USAID earlier. They're trying, and that freeze going on. Turns out that may also fuck over the independent media outlets in Ukraine, as well as some of the media that gets into Russia that's fighting against the misinformation there. And I would say that was an unintended consequence. But at this point, are any of these unintended consequences, or is it a feature, not a bug? Speaking of that pardoned January 6th rioter, we're talking about Andrew Tate. That's an awfully familiar sounding name.
Yeah.
Previously pardoned for his involvement in January 6th. But don't you worry. What do you want to guess he was charged with? I'll give you a hint. It was in Texas. It's not really a hint.
Are you asking me?
Do you already know?
Yeah, I know. I read the outline.
Tried to fuck a minor.
Right.
He tried to fuck a minor, people. He had already had a 2016 felony charge for this, and now has been charged once again in February 4th because he tried to. I wonder, when he tries to pick up minors, does he bring up being an insurrectionist?
It depends on it. Well, he's in Texas. He might.
He's like, these kids are going to think I'm so cool. Yeah. I'm going to head on down to the bus stop and see if I can get a little thing going. Anyway, cut off his parts or something. And I mean that metaphorically, emotionally cut off the parts of his brain that I've just fucking put him in prison and never let him out. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with us? What the fuck is wrong with, like, you didn't.
There's a very direct line between where your moral compass lies to participate in something like January 6th. The line, like, it just feels very clear to me. Like, that you can be a person who is opposing what's going on at the government and march in, protests and whatever, but it's quite another thing to bum rush the fucking Capitol violently. Like, your moral compass and how you view the world is so skewed that this is not going to be the first story that we hear of someone who was pardoned who's going to later do something horrendous. Like this.
It's already the third or fourth, and it's only been a few weeks.
Right. It's gonna. Yeah, we were talking about that woman last time. This is gonna happen over and over and over again because these are people who have no moral fucking compass.
Hey Trump, maybe next time you do a sweeping pardon, exclude the chimos. Like, literally, it'd be the easiest child molesters. Oh. It's the easiest win for you. Just literally just be like, and we're going to let out all these people, unless, of course, they have pre-existing charges of touching little kids, because
touching
who would have argued against that?
Abusing them, like any, I mean.
But I don't want to turn away the child molester vote. That is a significant portion of my coalition. I don't want to get rid of them.
So disturbing. I would actually like to know how many. Oh my God, Bonnie is harassing the shit out of me today. I would like to know how many people who were arrested and then pardoned January 6th have previous counts of violent crime. Yeah,
sure.
I'd like to know what the rap
this
sheet
guy
is.
had one from 2016 of the same thing that he is now. I don't know if it said he just felt empowered or if he mistook and was like, so this is a universal pardon, right? Like I can fuck any kid I want now. I don't know. I don't know what the dude's deal was, but yeah, that's fun. But listen, people, let's end on a non-Trump story. Let's end on something a little bit lighter. We're all going to die. A little lighter. Good. And it probably won't. If the fascism doesn't get you, don't you worry. Recent studies reveal that ocean temperatures are actually increasing at a rate 400% faster than they were increasing in 1980s, which is a lot more than what researchers had been warning against. It is rising 0.27 degrees Celsius per decade, and that this is primarily from elevated greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. If the current trends continue, the next 20 years are going to, we're just fucked. We're going to die. We're going to die. So that's good. You all ready to die?
I mean, at this point, kind of. And
it's what's so great about living these days?
What's so great about living these days? What's so great about it? I mean, I hate seeing news like this because it makes me feel so helpless because I know that like no matter how many times I use a reusable water bottle or like rinse my recycling before I put it in the thing, it's like it's so frustrating because I don't think it matters. And that is, I don't really.
And you are correct. Your individual actions can't do shit now.
They don't do anything. And so now I don't really know. It's
only your votes had the potential and we kind of fucked
and we fucked that. So
all right, let's play the outro music and give some encouraging what are you going to do with your final years as you dodge the fascist bullets and just only to be met with the being burned up in the sun?
You know what? I'm going to eat everything that I've ever wanted to.
Okay. Nice flex.
Sorry. I just keep thinking about how much time people waste wanting to be like skinny. And I'm like, but there's so much to eat. We have to eat because Jimmy can't.
Okay, that's not how any of this works either.
I know, but my point in saying that is I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want.
You should see how much my significant other loves that I keep making them describe the meals they're having to me.
I'm sure. Best. What are you gonna do?
Die.
Okay.